Eerie silence because I don't know what happened to my background sound. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, the mic is working. All right, let's do this thing. All right, how's everybody doing today? I have redone my entire stream PC mainly because I was running into some issues, specifically when it came to the issue side of things. I was getting a hum from a Soundcraft UI 16, which I've been using for a while, and I wanted to redo some sound and basically bring everything in optical, or the Toslink, SPDIF and all that, and get rid of all 3.5 or analog audio inputs, because there's just so much noise that gets introduced into the line when you do it. So I have a couple things on the agenda for the next, not Saturday's video, but I bought a bunch of sound cards. Spoiler, don't buy sound cards. They really suck and they're really old. And I even went as far as to go buy, oh crap, a bunch of these little guys. I bought a batch of 50 from China that took about a year to get here. Did I just spill some? Oh well, I got extras. But I thought, hey, I'll switch out the op amps on the sound cards and make them not noisy. I still hear the noise. So that was, I think it helped, but still not great. So I tried that, and then I also bought a bunch of USB DACs, and I was trying that out too, to see how to get optical inputs into a PC correctly. I wish I could tell you I'm having a good time with this, but I'd be lying. It is just awful. There's really not a very good solutions for optical in like if you want to do like 4 or 5 different optical inputs on a PC, it's just not there. So I'm just buying up every single optical in USB type device to do it. Now, some people are like, why don't you just use a professional mixer like a music producer or Hollywood dude? Because there's plenty of those. And I was looking at like a UFX++, and those are great. But, and this is a big but, when you pull those into a computer, it just gives you one input. And I want to control everything from the PC in OBS, so that I can do special filtering and all kinds of shenanigans. That would be a lot of fun for live streams. But, yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I'll see what ends up going. I'm just going to keep buying stuff until I get it how I want it. But overall, yeah, just having a ton of devices feed into one stream PC through optical inputs is difficult. I've done it through 3.5, just regular analog and some other stuff. Not fun. But anyways, let's start the video with my desktop, which if we come over here, this is the new desktop, by the way. It is GNOME Fedora, which is kind of strange. And yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is just stock settings. I think something's amiss here. I'm seeing a plus. I usually do 4 workspaces. This is where the workspaces are. When you go to like open up a new browser, it'll actually populate here, so you can just fill this up with whatever you want, and then it does that. I think, can we keep going here? Let's see. Let's do like text edit, see what happens. Okay, yeah, it doesn't fill in. I wonder how. Oh well, I got 5 workspaces. Let's go disks. Just keep pulling up. Yeah, that works pretty good. And then you can also control with like hotkeys like that and switch between all of them. And we have our traditional. And this looks a lot like Awesome Window Manager I had of yesteryear. I think it was about a year or 2 ago I was doing Awesome Window Management. And this right here is made by the same developer. So very, very similar. It's just, it's baked into GNOME. So we have GNOME extensions, which I don't really like GNOME extensions. And if we look at like the settings of it, you can see that. However, I do really enjoy GNOME settings, which is really good. And also GNOME tweaks, which actually, this used to be called GNOME tweak tool. They switched the package name out. So now we have a little bit better like this, and like workspaces. Yeah, I'm at 5 static workspaces. Okay, that's about right. And you can see all the different settings that you got here. So we could theme this out a little bit more today. If anybody from chat has any ideas, let me know. I did switch from Arch because we got to address the elephant in the room real fast. When we're looking at the videos of the channel, the last 2 videos, you've seen 2 basically counterpoints. And if we go videos, you'll see like, this is the future, PC gaming's a mess. This right here was I booted back into my Arch instance, started gaming, and it was just an awful experience. And I wanted to show that because that's going to be somebody's experience. I mean, how would they know that there was a competing compositor and KD compositor was taking over and stealing 50% of your GPU? The answer is they wouldn't. They would just be like, Linux sucks, I'm going back to Windows. So I wanted to actually show this. I didn't really mean to show it. It just happened, and I was like, well, I'm recording. Let's just make a video. And then this one was when I wiped it out, installed Fedora with this scene, which that's kind of what we're in right now. Let's just do what the cool kids do and show a NeoFetch. This is what I'm in right now, which is good. And I basically installed Fedora, installed Steam, didn't do any settings. And if we look back, I think ChrisTitus.com, Ultimate Linux Gaming Guide. I think that was the address. Let's see. Yeah. So before, when I was setting up gaming things, and this was circa 2020, I think, when I made this, you had to go through, install all the drivers, do this. You could do a custom kernel. I tried custom kernels and not. I tried TKG's kernel. I tried the Zen kernel and some other stuff in Arch. And I just was not seeing any uplift in FPS, like at all. Or if it was so menial. I could just attribute it to the margin of error. So I didn't think it was even worth it if I'm not getting a substantial uplift. So I don't even recommend any custom kernels these days. And then ACO, this was actually used to do this global variable and stuff. Update, I actually went ahead and updated my article a little bit. You don't even need to do this anymore. So you don't really need to bother with drivers, especially if you're an AMD user. Obviously, NVIDIA, you still need to install a driver. ACO, stock, it's on by default. Using a custom kernel back then, you could actually see a little bit of an uplift in FPS. These days, I really don't see much between the stock kernel and not. Installing Lutris and Wine, I haven't even done that. So let's do that. I'm not even going to bother with these instructions because it doesn't even have Fedora on here. And game mode, this used to be a whole thing. You got to get dependencies. Almost all this now is apt install game mode or pacman-s game mode. You don't even need to bother building and installing. I think game mode's pretty much universally in all the distro packages. As when I installed Steam too, on here in Fedora, it automatically installed game mode. So, I mean, you gotta love that. And then custom Proton, the last bit of this whole guide. I tried custom Proton, Glorious Egg Rolls 7.10, I think is what it's on right now, using Proton up, which is great. Most games didn't work right, or what they did, I was getting better FPS with Proton Experimental. So back when I was gaming about a year or two ago, Proton that Steam gave out was just not very good. That's changed a lot. The stock Steam settings have gotten much better. And then also having to do this custom Proton. There's probably still going to be a couple like bleeding edge games that probably will benefit from this. So I'd still say install Proton up and just use it for those games that are specific. But for the most part, when you're in Steam, let's go Steam. You kind of see how this, as I'm using the environment, you can kind of see how it's structured. There's also a tab mode for this. You got half split screens. So it's like a mixture of a regular desktop with tiling window. It's like a weird hybrid baby is basically what we're talking about. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and update Cyberpunk while we're here. Grab it. Oh, and Experimental also has an update. Let's grab it as well. But when you're in here, Proton Experimental is probably what you should be using these days, which was kind of interesting. So I'm kind of revisiting all of AAA title gaming on here. It has gotten a lot better since Steam Deck. And I was honestly didn't think Steam Deck would do as much as it did. I was one of the naysayers. Surprisingly, it has. So very interesting. And as far as what GNOME version this is, let's see what this is. What is Fedora rocking by stock defaults? It is GNOME 41.3, so it is not GNOME 42 just yet. Yeah. So there you go. Nothing can completely substitute disabling the compositor. Yeah, right now I am running the compositor and getting really good frame rates. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Bleeding Edge Protonics Experimental. Yeah, so this is pretty good. I'm curious if we go to the store and let's just do Proton. Let's see. I don't know if it'll pull in. Yeah, it won't. I think we have to go for like SteamDB, which is cool if you guys are Steam users. I think it's steamdb.info, and we could look at Proton. What do they have in their database? Yeah, I am using Wayland as well. And here was an idea as well when it comes to which desktop management you're using. Wayland versus Xorg. I think SteamOS, someone was saying they were doing a hybrid, which I've never even heard of a hybrid. You usually use either Xorg or you use Wayland. And I think Steam, someone was saying that they switched to Wayland when you go to launch games and stuff. And I was like, that doesn't seem right at all, because to do that, you'd have to kill the X server, which would kill the front end, and then launch into it. Now, having said that, I have seen times where I've killed X and launched into certain apps. I want to say when I was making Titus Pi, I would drop the TTY or console and then kill X and then launch the emulation station. And that was just because the Pi was so underpowered. But it kind of makes sense. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. I'm going to be looking into maybe doing something like that and writing some scripts to emulate what Steam's doing there. But I need to get my hands on actual Steam Deck and the Steam image, as I want to kind of see what optimizations they make and then put that in us everyday users, because I think that's so important. Yeah, so Fedora is really looking nice, by the way. If you don't know, Fedora was the Linux distribution I first started on when I tried desktop Linux. I'm kind of an odd duck in the Linux community just because I've used Linux Server for like a long time. I started with Linux Server back in 2000s with networking mostly, and then around late 2000s, early 2010s, it really was starting to take over the server realm, and I started doing LAMP stacks, which is what you run websites on, or used to. I mean, I guess still a lot of people use WordPress. Anyways, but yeah, LAMP stacks, and then also telephony. I was actually building out a ton of Asterisk boxes, which is your traditional voice over IP phones, and that was been really good. So that's where my background is with Linux server, and even then, I would say my expertise lies in Windows and Windows-based Windows Server, which is kind of funny. And obviously, I haven't really made many Windows Server videos because it's just kind of a dying breed altogether. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting tidbit. I was looking at Proton Experimental. And yeah, that's the one you can see the last updates, when they are pushing out updates. It's kind of weird, like Proton 5.13 got updated 4 days ago. So it's kind of, I think they keep some old versions around depending on what's going on. And Proton BattleEye runtime, Proton Anti-Cheat runtime, they are working on these. So we'll see what ends up happening. I have been just immensely impressed with the Steam Deck coverage. I can't say the Steam Deck itself because I don't have it, but the coverage of the Steam Deck has been overwhelming positive to the point where I'm kind of like, is it really as good as people say it is? Because that's a lot of bold statements. But then again, anytime I've delved deep into a lot of the findings, especially like Elden Ring, I was surprised that I was totally wrong on that first video. I was like, man, Linux gaming you can't really push it out on a new game. But Elden Ring, Steam did something in the background to make Elden Ring as good as it was, because it getting higher FPS in this last video was really, really odd. Anywho, I get stuck in the weeds. I just kind of want to, I've been making a lot more videos lately too. I'm getting back to 3 videos a week just because I want to make sure I get back into that groove. I originally dropped to 1 video a week because I wanted to do other stuff like projects, and I think originally I was like, I'm gonna do like a full course and some other stuff, and then I took the time off and I found that I really wasn't being very much more productive. So I was like, all right, I looked at it, I was like, all right, I just need to make more videos. So I'm going back to 3 videos a week from 1. So if anybody's wondering why you're seeing me more in your feed, that's why. As far as the anti-cheat software, it's just a runtime. So you can be doing any version of it and you should be good. Let's retry the sync. Is there anything? Okay. Yeah, I was like, should sync up. Yeah, the Cloud Sync's working pretty good. I have been playing a little bit on Moonlight because I've been using the Chrome OS device for, I don't know, probably 2 weeks now, or a week and a half. I've been on Chrome OS on my laptop. I'm not daily driving Chrome OS. That's just maddening. Just to see what all I can do on it. I've been able to get a lot of stuff in there. Just there's some wonky workarounds to do pretty much anything on it, even though it is a bit of an underpowered PC. Hey, thanks so much for the super chat, Henrik. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, Debbie and Titus, for sure, Tanmay. I need to get back on that and take a look at it. I just haven't had the time lately. But in its current state, I've really enjoyed the stock version of just Fedora. Material shell is what you want. If you look at GNOME extensions too, I guess I should talk about that. Let's go to GNOME extensions. And really what you want is Material Shell by Papa El Gringo. This is great. But look at what version you're on. I think it only supports, I don't know. I'm on 42 and it's supporting GNOME 44. Oh no, I'm on 41, aren't I? Yeah, it might not support GNOME 42. Let's see. Yeah, I'm on 41.3. So you might, I don't know if you could use this on Arch, but most other instances, I think most Debian distros should still be on GNOME 41. Yeah, BattleEye is coming to Linux, by the way. I have seen a lot of tweets specifically about that. I even tweeted at BattleEye and they responded and said that they will be supporting Linux sometime in the future, which you can kind of see that when we're looking at the Steam database. Did I close that? I closed it. Of course I did. But you can look at the Steam database or steamdb.info, and you'll see that there is a Proton BattlEye runtime, and there's a Proton anti-cheat runtime. And anytime you put Proton in front of it, just know that means Windows. Windows BattlEye, Windows anti-cheat. And those are getting runtimes, and they are apparently making progress. And it's just, the big thing here I want to emphasize too is Valve can only do so much. At the end of the day, the developer itself has to support it. And if they don't want to support it, then they're not going to. And it has to be worth their while to support it. Because Valve isn't going to step in for every game. Now, if the game's big enough, like Elden Ring, Valve was like, hey, we need to step in and show the developers how it's done. And they stepped in and took Elden Ring and made it more optimized on Linux than Windows, which is a feat in itself. I didn't even know that was possible. But alas, I was getting higher frame rates and just overall better experience in Linux compared to Windows for Elden Ring specifically, which it did take. It was an ongoing thing, and it wasn't until I did Fedora and it was like, why is this so bad? When I was on my Arch instance and it was the compositor stealing all my performance. But again, everybody's mileage varies a little bit. Yeah, as far as trying Arch Titus, let me see. I'm going to go through some questions here. Arch Titus, yeah, I don't think there's a bug. It depends on when you tried it. There was a big iteration. The last giant pull or push commit I did was a couple weeks back, I think about 3 weeks ago, and since then it should be pretty rock solid. Have you tested Gentoo? Yeah, Gentoo to me is not really a desktop environment that anybody should be in, so I'm not going to bother with Gentoo or LFS. A lot of people have talked about it, but it's such a niche thing that it's just not worth it to me. I'm not even going to bother with either. I'm not to say they're not bad. It's just, hey, they're meant for other stuff than desktop usage, and I'm just going to say that. Both are not. Anbox or Waydroid, I'm not a big fan of that. If you're going to use that type of stuff for Anbox, I'll probably do Anbox. Obviously, Waydroid's meant for Wayland-based stuff. I would probably do like an Arch-based system if you're interested in this, and build your own kernel using TKG, but don't just build the stock version. If you go into customizations when you're building TKG, you can actually say, hey, add the Anbox kernel extension, and then it when you build the kernel for TKG, it will have a proper Anbox support. So you'll get really good stuff through, or really good performance through your Linux thing. It's still not great. Chrome OS is actually pretty good to develop Android games on. Yeah, I've seen this, and I'm actually doing the full trial of 30 days of Chrome OS. I'm only going to do one video because Chrome OS videos just do awful on my channel, and I get it. Most people don't want to use it. But Chrome OS, where I see its niche, is really old, crappy computers. Using like Chrome OS Flex, or just buying a $200 Chromebook. They're good, but when it comes to gaming on the actual hardware itself, I mean, it's a Chromebook. The hardware itself is just not conducive unless some Chromebook comes out with like the Steam Deck type hardware. Possibly. So maybe in a year or two we might see something like that. But right now, when it comes to gaming on my Chromebook, I do game quite a bit on my Chromebook. I usually use Moonlight to get in here, or if I need to stream from my PlayStation 5, I'll use PS Play, not the official app, because the official app does not support DualSense controllers for some odd reason. What the hell, Sony? Yeah, but some other developer made PS Play, and it's like $6 in the Play Store, and I just bought that, and it works okay, I guess. I mean, I still prefer to use my PC with Moonlight. It's still a better one. Yes, I'm going to be making a Fedora script. Scripting GNOME's a little bit trickier than normal, so I will probably end up doing this. I want to keep playing around with my desktop environment until I get it kind of locked in. The stock settings here, though, I really did not do much to achieve this desktop. This desktop, I'm just gonna say it. I spent like all of 30 minutes on it. It was so simple and so good out of the box, which is really good. Scaling, yeah. This is another issue since because I was on Windows almost exclusively, not exclusively. I still booted into Linux from time to time, but a majority of the time this past month when I was just kind of gaming a bunch, specifically League of Legends, which we can try. We'll do Lutris after this. Actually, let's do sudo dnf install Lutris because I think I need to grab Lutris, and I can't remember, there was something else I needed to get to. But we'll grab Lutris, connect that up. Let's try and launch League of Legends. I want to see how that is as well. But the big thing about Linux that it really sucks compared to Windows. Like the nice thing about switching back and forth is you could really understand what Linux is good at and what Windows is good at. And what Windows does really well is those odd resolutions and refresh rates. If you're just doing like 1080p at 60, who cares? All of them work fine. But when you start getting into odd refresh rates and desktop environments and scaling, Linux is awful. There is no really great solution for it. I've been basically hard coding it using xrandar. So I use this and then I code everything in. But a lot of times the settings, like right now, I'm using 1440 at 60 hertz, which is actually incorrect. I should be at 165 hertz. It's just Linux's way of handling displays is not good. It just sucks. Let's just be real. Wayland, Xorg, all the ways to handle the display in Linux is inferior to every other OS. It is last place. So that's a downside to Linux with its display handling and how it does it. It's not intuitive, and even for those people like me, it still is not a fun experience by any stretch of the imagination. This is weird on Wayland. Why in the heck is it not I guess mirroring, and it automatically goes and dumps this down to 60. But even still, that's kind of jank. So good question. Top button in the right corner. This does maximizing, splitting, tiling, and floating. So if this is like a maximize tab approach, so if I add something like another different terminal, or I can add files, whatever it might be, I can flip back and forth using maximize tab. But let's now do a float. Float, of course, is your more traditional. So let's say you have it in here, and then you can, oops. Oh, let's see. There we go. Then you can grab it and you can float your windows. You can do split, and it splits it for you. That's kind of a janky split, but you get the idea. I could always just close out, relaunch. Like that. It might be something hard-coded in my Kitty instance. Let's just do regular terminal. Yeah, there we go. That gives a little bit better. So that's that button. Kind of neat. What is your recommended window manager? I really like BSPWM. I think it has the easiest config by far. Huh. Oh, there it goes. It's like weird. Let's bring up NeoFetch again. Yeah, you had to enable fractional scaling on Note to fix the blurry text. Yeah, I'm not using any scaling right now, but I probably should. My text isn't very blurry though. I'm running at 100% scaling. I think let's just double check that, just so I'm not telling you the wrong thing. Displays. Yeah. And to enable fractional scaling, I think that's in tweaks, isn't it? Appearance. Well, maybe not. It might be deconf. We can grab it. Let's see. Deconf. Let's try fractional scaling really fast. I'm curious. Let's search scaling. Huh. That's weird. Usually there's fractional scaling somewhere. I'll have to track that down. Silver blue is interesting. Yeah, I haven't used it myself, Taylor, when it comes to Fedora Silver blue. I've heard it's pretty much an immutable operating system where it locks down most of the system stuff. A lot like Steam Deck does, apparently. But I'm not a big fan of immutable file systems. I think they're good, and honestly, for a lot of people to use it, you're going to have the most stable experience in an immutable file system, which I'm pretty sure Silverblue does. I think it does a read-only system folders, which is good. What do you recommend for someone starting in Linux? Just remember, don't try and use it like Windows. And I probably need to do a video again about it. It's been so long. Don't try to use it like Windows. Think of the most optimal way to do stuff. Try out different things and figure out what suits your needs. And just remember, everything can be customized and changed. Something bothers you, you can change it, you can customize it. It's just a matter of time. So always remember that. That's the cool thing about it. Yeah, no, WinGet on Server Core doesn't have the Microsoft store. So you can't do WinGet because WinGet's relying on a lot of the dependencies of Microsoft Store, and you're not going to run into Core and be able to do any of that. I've tried to do like a gaming setup on Core, like install Steam and stuff, but you ended up running into really some wonky dependencies. It's actually easier to start from like a pro-in version of Windows and then start stripping out components using like an ISL tool like NT Lite or MSMG Toolkit. And then once you get that, you can get a more minimal thing, and that helps performance with almost everything. So if you're interested in Windows gaming, I would say that's probably where you should start with. Windows Server Core, I'm really familiar with, and I use it a lot, but it is not really meant for the average user at all. Like, I love Linux Terminal. Like, I was crapping on its display capabilities when it comes to Linux, but when it comes to terminal, Linux is king. It's so good, and the syntax is so easy with bash completion and ZSH completion, whatever it is. It's just so easy to work with. But when you get into Windows and you have to do like PowerShell commands or just plain old command prompt, ugh, so terrible, so terrible. Why do you have your desktop manager set up like this? I like virtual spaces, and I like maximize windows. I don't like a floating approach. You can take this one if you just like to kind of, if you like to just kind of flip around using your desktops. You can use that in a floating mode, but I'm not a big fan, so I don't really mess with that. Yeah, i3 Window Manager is not bad. I think it's just kind of lacking in features. Endeavor OS, I think, has a lot of really good scripts. If you check out their GitHub, I want to say Endeavor OS has a really complete one. I don't have any interest in making a script for Endeavor OS though. I'd say like, hey, why not just use regular Arch and make a script for it? Same thing, same. So yeah, I would say that's a pretty hot take, Fahim. I would say the big thing with that is using a backup tool. So if you're breaking your Linux all the time, like me, I always break my Linux. I wanted to do. Someone actually, I think it's your backup. I think was what it was called. Was that it? You are backup? Yeah. UR backup right here, open source server file backup system. I would do this and start to do something like that. Or if you have like a better FS system, you could do like time shift, which is pretty good. I like time shift a little bit better than snappy or snapper. This is a good little system retooling tool, but this basically does snapshots of your system as it is today. And then when it breaks, you just revert back to a snapshot. So it's super, super easy. And you never, you know, when you break your Linux, inevitably you'll probably do something. You'll follow some guide by me or whoever online, and then it'll break your system or do something that you didn't intend. Just pull up your backup and then just say restore. Unlike Windows, the restores in Linux actually go well. You know, if you've ever tried to do like a system restore in Windows, it's so jank. Microsoft, what the world? Why can't they have a proper snapshotting support in Windows? Is beyond me. Like, talk about terrible Windows features. System restore is awful. It should be so much better. Where Linux has proper snapshotting, so you can easily go back in time, and it's exactly, your system is exactly the same as it was when that snapshot was taken. Where to achieve this in Windows, I do a couple things in server. You could use Veeam. I love Veeam. It's a paid product. Synology, I've done some videos on that. If you have a Synology box, they have Active Backup for Business, which is great for those Windows users. And those do full snapshots, like proper backups, where Windows itself just is incapable of doing a proper backup. But Linux, every time, every solution I've just talked about on Linux is money. Like, you're not going to have any issues. So yeah, everything breaks. You know, that's the thing. You give me any OS, I'll break it. Maybe not Mac, actually. No, I broke my Mac. Yeah, I don't think I quite understood extended attributes that well on Mac, and I remember getting in there and doing some stuff on the system level through like a root user, and yeah, I've jacked up Mac before. But I will say Time Machine is really good on Mac. A little bit, it kind of fills up your drive a bit. I wish I might make a script to cool down my Macs that have that. But anyways, I digress. Everything's possible, though. Could somebody mix server core and React OS and build custom desktop environments? No. React OS was reverse engineered. So while the kernel is similar to Windows in a lot of ways, and it has a similar look and feel to Windows Server 2000, it's still not Windows. And it's not really a thing. Like, no. just no. It's definitely never going to happen. Oh, 1 second here. Hello? I didn't. That's okay. You don't have to give me anything. I'm just going to grab a granola bar. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, yeah, I'll just have a bagel with like some peanut butter. All right, love you. All right, bye. Sorry, wife was wanting some breakfast. She's like, hey, I'll get you something while I'm out. And I'm like, nah, that's okay. This is a good question. Can you hack with Linux easily? Yeah. If you're interested in hacking, I think who is it? Network Chuck. He's local to me. He's actually in the area. Maybe I'll do a collab someday with him. But if you, I know you can't see this. Metasploit is probably the tool you're going to want for pen testing. And this right here is amazing. If you find someone like, if you want to punk one of your friends or something, find someone like a Windows 7 user. it doesn't even matter if they patch their system unless they have. Nah, you can totally hack them with Metasploit now. There's so many vulnerabilities that have not been patched on Windows 7 now that a script kiddie can take care of a Windows 7 system. So get on Metasploit. This I think is pretty much on every Linux distribution. Let's see. I probably need to do Metasploit. Yeah, 1 second. Metasploit's not on Fedora's repos, but anyways, you can always build it from scratch or just use Kali Linux. It comes with it built in. But Metasploit has like PPAs for Debian users. Arch, it's in the AUR, I'm sure, if it's not already in the regular package. Use this, and you can just go to town on hacking Windows 7 users. So totally easily. So have fun with that. But yes, if you're into hacking Linux, you need to learn it. Learn it, love it, live it, because you can't do Windows. Well, yeah, you can't hack in Windows. You can't. You need a Linux install. There's no hacker that uses Windows. That's like funny. If you think you'll download like some executable file or something and like, oh, I'm gonna run a DOS attack or something, that's just gonna install some viruses on your machine. You're gonna be part of a botnet. Have you tried installing the LCARS Linux desktop? How do you install it? I haven't been able to figure it out. I think you just run that through Wine, Luck Dragon. I think it's actually an SCR, and you can do. I think I actually made a script post on this. Let me see. ChrisTitus.com. LCAR. I think that should get me what I need. Did I not? Maybe. Maybe I didn't. Oh, you know what? I don't think I pulled that over from my old website. It's interesting. I kind of miss my old website, to tell you the truth. Because I don't think do I have a search? Let's see. Yeah, I don't even have a search on here, I don't think. I think it was Linux. Oh, I don't. Okay. Well, that's no problem. Let's do code. We can launch it real fast. I have a backup through GitHub of it. Which, do I have GitHub desktop? Oh, jeez, man, I'm slacking. All right, let's install some stuff real fast. I'm going to grab my old website real fast from there. Oh, let's go GitHub desktop. Linux. I think we'll just do a binary for this install. I don't really bother installing repositories anymore. Just kind of gotten away from it. I want to say like screen key or something. I can't remember what. Shift key. That's what it was. GitHub shift key desktop. So let's do github.com/shift key desktop. I'm just going to shift key desktop. This has a bunch of releases, which we'll grab. And look at that. We got an RPM release. So this makes it really easy on Fedora. Also, this is a good example of why I don't really care too much about what distro I'm on, because it's just understanding the syntax of what you're installing. So I think it's just RPM here. Yeah. And I don't know if it's a -I. This is probably improper, but let's see. GitHub desktop. Is that it? Yeah, it's almost like dpackage for syntax. So this should install GitHub desktop for me. Well, let's see if it does. I think it did. Let's come into here. And do we have GitHub desktop? Perfect. So there is that. And we can clone a repository, and we'll grab our website. I think this is my old website that's still there. So anytime I like have like an old article that I'm referencing, I'm like, oh crap, it's not on my new website. I can just clone my old GitHub because I was using GitHub as my host. And then it was cloning to Netlify and then getting distributed through a CDN. So all my old website would load in like 200 milliseconds. It was probably one of the fastest websites on the net, which is great. All right. And then let's do sudo DNF Hugo. Let's see if Hugo's in here. Yeah. Hugo version, it's on version 80, so we're good. Fedora's repos, I've noticed, have been a lot more up to date than I thought. Surprisingly so. All right. And then I think we need code too. Let's just close that. Do we have code? Or Codium? DNF search Codium. Don't worry, I'm going to get to that LCARS. All right, maybe code. Is code in here? Well, that's not. Would that be part of this same? No. What about VS Code? Yeah. All right, let's do Codium install. Codium and code. A lot of people always ask, what's the difference between Visual Studio Code and Codium? Codium doesn't have telemetry, and it's the open source equivalent to code. So usually what Codium, RPM package. VS Codium install. Let's see. Well, how do they tell me to do it? Let's take Linux, for instance. Install with snap. Ugh. No. We ain't doing that. Codium. Nope. This is your Ubuntu. One downside to Fedora is a lot of times... Oh, well, never mind. They have it right here. A lot of times they don't have the instructions for Fedora because it's just not as popular. But nonetheless, still very easy. We'll just add the repo. Sounds good. And then just do a sudo DNF update. We'll import that. Do that. Oh, we're updating the kernel. Oh, well. Try it out. Yeah, I just saw in chat. Don't worry, I'm leaving that message up just so I can keep going. No. I don't do WordPress at all. WordPress is like a good way to get hacked. I think when I hit about 100,000 subscribers, no, it was even less than that. I think it was like 50,000 subscribers. I did have an old WordPress site I used just to kind of toss issues and things that I needed to relook up. But WordPress is just such a moving target. It's hard to secure because there's a massive attack vector. Where when I switched to Hugo with Netlify, that was a static site, meaning there is no attack surface. That attack surface was like non-existent. And I'm like, good luck trying to hack that. Maybe they could hack into Netlify and change some stuff, but even then, I have my GitHub with all the Git revisions, so I could easily just take it down and repush it if anything were to ever happen. So that was nice. And now I just use a third party, and I've just gotten... I just don't have the time to dedicate towards it. So anyways, let's do a Codium. Now we have the repo in there. It'll download and install some Codium for us. And then I'll get to the LCARS here. Yeah, snaps aren't like the worst, but they're just poor performers. So I'd try to just kind of stay out of the Linux politics these days. The only thing I really hate about snaps is they perform like garbage, and like Ubuntu itself, I never miss a chance to bash old Ubuntu. Just an easy pickings. Is they institute a lot of their desktop environment into snap form, and they have like a lot of GNOME based dependencies that are in snaps in stock Ubuntu now. So it just performs like a dog. It's like the worst performing distro in the world because they've just done a really poor job with it. And that's on the Ubuntu team. I mean, so if you want a really crappy desktop or distro, install Ubuntu. It's going to be the worst performer probably out of all of them. But anyways. All right, we got Codium. Let's come over here. Codium. Yes. And we'll grab our folder. This also kind of gives you an idea of what to expect with the material shell that I'm doing as well, which is kind of like the theme of this live stream. What do we have? Downloads. No. No. What was I doing? Home documents, I think it was. Oh, no. It was GitHub. There we go. Yes. And then we're going to grab a terminal here. And I probably need to customize this terminal. Use figure terminal settings. Kitty. I don't know if font is in here. Oh, okay, yeah. Integrated to font family. Let's go. I know, I it's so easy to get lost in the weeds here, but I'm gonna try and stay on point. FC list, LCARs. We're getting to LCARs. 1 second. FC list, grep, Meslo. I like my Meslo fonts. So this is gonna be Meslo Nerd font is what I want. Right here. And then I should be able to paste that in. And now, there we go. Perfect. I just saw some missing emojis and some stuff in my terminal down here, and I wanted to make sure that was an apples to apples comparison. So if we go Hugo server, there we go. Now we should have my old website to pull down the LCARs if that person's still here. Oh wait, no. What was the? Oh yeah, 1313. Ah, there's the old website. LCAR. Is that there? LCAR? Screensaver? Yeah, my search isn't working. Somewhere in here. 1 second. We'll find it. Ah, there it is. Yeah, LCARs it should have found. So let's we can install this. LCARs. Oh no. Oh, okay. I was like, no. I was like, it missed it. Wow, there's a 2022 release. Say what? Huh. I almost kind of want to use the old one. All right, let's see. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've used LCAR's desktop. You could probably theme that out though. I'd probably do LCAR's tiling window manager of some sort. I'm sure that's a thing somewhere. This is what I was doing for LCARs. It's actually a Windows file, or if there's Windows users, you could actually install LCARs using that. It looks like they've updated it, which is kind of funny. Also, I've been getting a lot of false positives. I did a toolbox in Windows, and it always flags it as a virus. And I'm like, antivirus is so worthless nowadays. I'm just like, I'm out on all antivirus. I think that's just all a scam. Anywho, that's a future video. Needless to say, this is the LCARs thing. What is the LCARs? I bet there's an LCAR tiling window manager. Yeah, maybe not. That'd be interesting to see. But I'm sure there is. This is how I was doing it with a wine bottle to pipe in the SCR. Basically, what I was doing was grabbing this, running wine, doing the setup, and then when I was running it, I was going into that LCARS bottle with the SCR, and if you do /S, that counts as a screensaver, and then you can actually go ahead and tie this. Now, I think I tied this to X screensaver or X print idle, but you don't need to do that. You could actually change this for Wayland. Obviously, I would use a different setup for it. But yeah, I would just create a script for it, and then I even did a video a while back on it. That's what I was thought you were talking about, but I was wrong. No, I would probably do my own thing and not use Skillshare if I was going to do the course. It's an involved thing, and I would want it to be, if I ever release a course sometime in the future, which I'm not promising anything, because I've tried it in the past. It's very difficult, and I would want it to be equivalent to a college level course or above, to where you could learn every practical skill to work on servers and use Linux in any way you want and be able to mold it to however you want, and explaining every single little detail of it in a digestible format. That's how I'd have to do it if I was ever going to do a course, and that's just way too big to do on a Skillshare type thing. Skillshare is like great to pick up little tiny things, but I don't know. Yeah, someone probably did Hikari pick it up in 2022 and put the crypto miner on it. I would not do it. LCAR SDE. All right, let's see. I can give you at least a. I don't know if I'll do it on screen here, but LCAR SDE. That's interesting. Wow, it's a full desktop environment? What's it based off of? Really? This looks cool as hell. Huh. Wow. That is neat. So log out application status bar menu, that once Ubuntu or Arch Linux. Does it have screenshots, I wonder? Oh, that's German. Huh. Oh, here we go. Oh, man. That's wild. That is a wild desktop environment. It kind of looks like my material shell. Oh, no. He's using Opera. Nah, disregard. When Q to close Windows, M, Alt Tab, when up down to switch the focus, Alt F4 to close. I would have to switch this. I'd be closing the window manager every time. Application menu. Ugh. Friends don't let friends use Opera, man. Be switching that out. Status bar. That is clean. All right, yeah, that's definitely going to be on my video list. I am very intrigued by it. That looks cool, man. That's like a full-blown desktop environment. Oh. I mean, it's a bit much for me, but that would be a fun video. Neat. Okay. Yeah, let's put that in the projects file. Bookmark that. Cool. You need to make this. It pretty much is my game and desktop. So I have it right here. See, I mean, we can launch it. Oh crap, I don't have a. Do I have a? Let's see. Let's see if this pulls in. Does Linux gaming still work? Let's test it. Because this game actually does play better, shockingly. Like most games definitely does not. Is Star Trek is responsible for IT? Yeah. So I'd probably be wearing a red shirt. Yeah. No, probably engineering, because it's more of an infrastructure thing. Yeah. So one thing I've noticed is game mode. Yeah, I have to click on there just to get rid of that. Where in the heck am I? I've been playing on. Yeah. Huh. Okay. But yeah, no, it's working good. Did I finish all this? I think I finished pretty much everything in this game. I was gonna do a new game plus mode soon. And I think I got everything on the underground too. Okay. Yeah, I think I just have to beat the final boss and then move on. But my buddy's been having trouble on PlayStation 5, so I'm gonna join him. And I've been playing on PlayStation 5 now for about a day or two, leveling up that guy. Doing a sorcerer that time around. But anyways, yeah. Old, it still fires up even better than Windows. So that wasn't BS when I did that video. I think that's actually the very first brand new game to release that played better on Linux than Windows. There's a lot of old games I could cherry pick and still get the performance increase, but this was the first time I've ever seen a new release play better. So, historical. That's why I'm always showing Elden Ring. Here we go again. Fat Raiden. I love my Fat Raiden. Probably should have left that up so we have some epic background music. Because one cool thing, the thing I like most about gaming on Linux is having the accessibility to basically switch. So let's say you're in game and you're like, hey, how do I find this one thing? You can do this, watch. You can pull it up and be like, where is this talisman or whatever it is? And then be like, okay, cool, found it. Oh, no, what was that? Okay, cool. Yeah. So you can switch between them all, and that's just fun. It's just a lot of fun. I wonder if I get copyright striked if I let this play in the background. I still love the music, though. Probably will. I don't care. Not a strike, but they'll claim it. Oh, yeah. Everyone always is asking, what build is this? This is weird. It's just GNOME with Material Shell. So let's clear. Very, very easy. Next project, create an OS for Android. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about using TKG with an Andbox kernel flag. And that way you can do some kind of Android development. But really, when it comes to OSs for Android, just use Chrome OS. It works really well for that, for the most part. The alt tabbing, I think, is stock GNOME. All right. That's funny. Oh, and then if you want to quit, you can just quit with a button, which is nice. So I like that. What features for normal people are missing from KDE Plasm? Scroll speed. A lot of it boils down to the actual manufacturers themselves. A lot of the manufacturers themselves are just development Windows tools or Windows and Mac tools. So that's what's up. Build the latest patch. Elden Ring works perfectly with EAC, online mode, all of that. So it's good. Oh man, yeah. That was the first time installing Arch Linux. I think I shot drunk. Oh man, that was great. I loved it. Back when I was like churning out videos, I was doing one a week or one a day for like a year. So I think I shot like 300 and something. I think it ended up being a shy over a video a day for an entire year. That was just insane. That was too much. It was too much. But I am getting back to doing 3 a week, so hey. Not including the live stream. I guess you could say it 4 a week with this live stream. Chosen desktops kit, yeah, probably because that's the most familiar to people. Most people like the when you're on your desktop. Most people really enjoy KDE Plasma because it's so similar to Windows. Is there a VirtualBox for phone? Yeah, kind of. Gosh, I remember talking to GFY about this, but I think he used a lot of emulation on the phone. I think even Brian Lundick did some too. I remember him loading up Linux on the phone. But yeah, it's possible. I don't really mess around with it that much. I'm not a big phone guy. Doing well, Zesty. Yeah, I've been doing good. I've been focusing more on just producing videos, so I've just been kind of head down for this past week. So I've just done my Friday morning live stream. Yeah, Don. That was another drunk install. Remember, I think I was sitting there installing Debian incorrectly for 3 hours. Come to find out the USB drive I was using was bad. I mean, what are the odds of your install USB drive going bad? Yeah, it was just awful. It was just totally awful. But I'm glad it was very, very memorable, I would say. Friday morning, Germany, it's 4:23. Yeah, probably more Europeans are actually on this stream than Americans, just because it's kind of prime time where y'all are at. Also, we're gonna get rid of daylight savings time. I'm kind of pumped about that as well. Europe Friday evening means we are in the future. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, guys. Is there anything else people want to know about that I have not described in this? Because this is a pretty vanilla install. Probably the most vanilla install I've done in a long time. Dang, I'm way in the past. Because I like I said, I need to revisit it a bit. Kind of switching around between all the operating systems has been really nice for me, just because I can kind of pick things I like and then try and institute that in, and I can kind of appreciate a lot of things that Linux does, and also figure out things that Linux doesn't do and figure out ways to institute it as well, which would be fun. AUR alternatives. So this is a good question. A lot of newbies use Arch. I know that sounds counterintuitive because on like the difficulty scale, Arch is up there. But really, once you get Arch installed or an Arch derivative, you can utilize the AUR, and all the AUR is something that builds packages for you. Now there's some knockoffs to it, but AUR is the only one that I know that does it really well. And I just build it from scratch, understanding what binaries are and where to get them, and then being able to just install that. Like a good one I haven't done on this system is Discord. Like some people like, hey, we'll just do snap install, or if you don't have a package, but Discord's actually a really good. Let's go Discord download, and let's just install for Linux, and you can do a deb package or a tar gz. We're going to grab the tar gz because everyone knows deb packages or RPM packages. You could do dpackage -i space that, and it'll install it. But tar gz is a different story altogether. So let's go into here. And what this is from the AUR is basically all it's doing is extracting Discord, and then it's just installing it. But let's take a look what's inside this Discord folder. You can see we don't have like an install file, and there's some bin files, and then Discord itself, and then there's a Discord desktop file. So now we kind of see that we have something that where we can launch in Discord. If we just go Discord, we could go like this, and it'll launch Discord. Obviously, it's a little bit different. You're going to see a little bit more running things from terminal. You always get a excessive verbose outputs, which is actually kind of nice when troubleshooting, like why is an application crashing. But this one, you can see we have a full-blown install of Discord already, and it updates itself. So that's actually pretty good. So this one's already ready to go. So instead of using the AUR, you just grab this tar.gz file. You already have that. We could just move this Discord folder, and we probably want to move the Discord folder to probably our home folder /.local, and then bin. And then when we go Discord, or actually I think we can just type Discord. Let's echo path. Do we have local bin? Yeah, we do. So let's relaunch our kitty, and then we type Discord. Still not found. Was that executable? Let's take a look. Oh no, Discord's there. Oh, never mind. I did this incorrectly. It's only going to grab the executable file. I wonder, probably the way to do this. Oh, I'm just going to, whatever. You can do link, what is it? Target directory. Target link name. I can't remember. The ln command always is a little wonky because I think it like flip-flops from Windows. So in my mind, I'm always flipping them around. But you can usually just do a symbolic link. So a good let's see, man, ln. Where's is there examples? Oh hell, let's just try it. All right, we're gonna do Discord, and then we're gonna link to Discord.discord. Okay, yeah. So it's the source is gonna be Discord. Maybe this is a little confusing, but file exists. Is that, did that grab it? So now if we launch Discord, is that autofill? Discord. Yeah. So there we go. So then from anywhere, you could just type Discord to launch using that method, but then you need to grab your app. If we go into, there's a desktop app, so the .desktop files. We can do a search. Let's do find iname star dot, oh, we forgot to put the target. Let's just try to do a find iname and star dot app. I think it'll take a wildcard. Maybe not. What's the wildcard for? I think it's regex, so you have to do some other stuff here. Yeah, I don't remember. My screen sharing is actually going through a Camlink Pro on a secondary system, and I'm outputting two videos mirrored. So if you look like xrandar, this is kind of my settings, and if we look at the, that's not installed. Keep running into things. New installs, I'm like, oh crap, I don't have that tool. Randar. You should see monitor output, so you can see that's kind of what I got running. They're just kind of overlapping each other, mirroring. Where's those desktop files? Why are you using Kitty terminal? I like it. It's pretty lightweight. I guess I could just use the stock GNOME terminal. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm trying to think here. Find Linux.desktop files. Where do those go? I want to say it was like .local applications. User share, .local share applications. Yeah. That's it. So to get that going, we could move the... Wait, what was the... Oh, it's discord.desktop. Discord.desktop. And we'll go to... What's it? Local share applications. So now we should have Discord. That's not what I needed. Crap. Let's see. Local share applications. What did I miss there? Oh, chmod. I forgot to make it executable. Such a dummy. Discord.desktop. It's still not opening it correctly, which is kind of weird. Let's go Elden Ring desktop. What am I missing? Comment, play this game, execute. Categories. This should work just fine. Path user bin. Oh, I guess this wants me to put it in the user bin file. I don't think we need to do any of that. Oh, user share Discord for the executable. It's not right. It's actually home Titus dot local share applications. Man, these fonts are awful. Let's switch this. Can I not? Like, let's do Cobalt or Tango. Cobalt's probably a little bit more applicable. Applications, Discord. Icon, Discord, networking, path. And this was going to be... Man, this is such a hodgepodge together thing. I don't even think I'm going to... Whatever. That's a jank solution, but hey. And now, I thought I made that executable. I might need to log out, log back in. No, it's there. Yeah, let's do a log out, log back in. Might even be faster to... Nah, it's not faster to reboot. All right. Yeah. I've done that too, Sam. I think my ZSH script and then also my regular one as well does the same thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yes, I do need to write a whole script to just grab all that in. All right, now let's see if Discord is in here. Or Discord. It's still not there. Wonder why that's not populating. Because it definitely works. Anywho, in theory, you drop your desktop file into your .local share applications, or you could do USR share applications. Maybe it would have worked if I'd done it there. I don't know. Anyways, that's the gist of it. Yeah, icon path. Yeah, probably should add that. But you all get the idea. I'm not going to sit here. I really don't use Discord on that computer at all. If I need it, it's there, though. Where's the download folder for debloat Windows script? There is no download folder. Everything runs from the script from your memory. And then as soon as you close it, there is no download that ever happens. The only thing you'll use is built-in system commands like, win-git install and then the application name. Yeah, the start page is just an extension on Chrome-based browsers. I think Firefox also has it. It's called Momentum Dash. And it's amazing. I love Momentum Dash because then I can just be like, hey, what's my focus today? And then I just put that in and then go to town. Keeps me grounded. Thumbnail for sat video. So that's kind of what I like to do. And then it syncs across all my computers. So every time I open up my browser, I'm like, oh, have I done the video for tomorrow? Oh, no, I have not. And then I make sure to do it. Kitty or Alacrity? That's a good question. I tried both. I didn't like Alacrity very much. I really enjoyed Kitty. They seem very, very similar. And Kitty's just kind of the first thing that really I enjoyed its layout and stuff. Alacrity, I just kind of felt like it was too bare bones for me. Kitty's bare bones, just like Alacrity, but Kitty's also in the repos. Alacrity, you have to like build from source or grab like a external repo, where Kitty's pretty much in every stock repo. So I prefer default to Kitty because I don't want to be grabbing crap from like the AUR or building from source every time I want to do my terminal. And that's why I chose Kitty over Alacrity. Very, very similar. I can't even tell the difference. Epic Games, yeah. I think the Heroic Epic Games launcher, I think they've been slowly building that out. I remember covering it when it initially happened. So, yeah, I think they're still doing really. Yeah, look at that. 14 days ago was the release. So there you go. Heroic Game Launcher. Pretty cool. I did a video on it probably a year or two ago. It was a bit rough around the edges back then, but it looks like they keep getting better and better, which is pretty cool. Yeah. It doesn't look like they have a Fedora thing, but we could probably do a build of it. If you guys want to see that, we could build Heroic Game Launcher. I probably will use it a little bit for whatever. Then was it just yarn install? Oh no, there's an RPM. I wonder, in releases, I didn't even check the assets. Maybe they already done a pre-built binary. So you don't even need to do it. Oh, they do. Yeah, right here. Here's the RPM. So we could either build from source or just do the RPM. Yeah. Fedora's a lot more universal than I thought. So, did that finish? Yes. Oh. Missing a dependency. Oops. All right. Does that get on there yet? You see it? Heroic? Yeah, I probably need to log out, log back in. I don't know why that didn't show up. Sometimes it shows up immediately. Sometimes it just depends on how they install it, I suppose. Log out. Yeah, MSMG toolkit's good for making a custom ISO. So Heroic. Oh man. All right. Well, that did not go through. I'm thinking I probably need to reboot my computer. It's the Windows in me. That's the Windows in me talking. Heroic. No, Heroic. Maybe they named it something else. No. Weird. It installed something. Whatever. It's all good. I just use the free version for momentum. They have like extra stuff like to-do lists and everything, but I just like having that nice wallpaper and the quote of the day and then putting my focus. The idea with momentum was not to have a bunch of clutter. So if you like clutter and want like a to-do and some other crap, you can buy it, but why? Just use the free one, like me. Oh, okay. COPR repo that's similar to the AUR. Oh, that's cool, Gurney. I'll have to check that out for Fedora. It's been so long since I used Fedora. I remember back when I was using it, there was RPM Fusion repo that had a lot of stuff, but I don't think I really used the COPR very much for anything. Yeah, I am using GNOME right now. What do you plan to do when you can't use themes on GNOME 42? I'm not sure yet. We'll see. This materials shell, I think I'll see what the developer does with GNOME 42 first. If he ends up supporting GNOME 42, which I should probably check that, huh? It'd be funny if GNOME updated and then broke everything. Let's see. Oh, he has a website, materialshell.com. He probably has a Git too. Let's see. Let's just go to his Git and see if we see anything. Let's star that guy. I have to come back to it. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with Material Shell and GNOME 42. I'm sure it'll probably break of some sort, but he'll probably be on it though. I really hate IPv6, but eventually I have to learn it. I know enough to get by if I have to use IPv6 with the the hexadecimal. But I understand how the IPs and everything's issued. It's just so much easier with IPv4 that I just don't bother. But I do need to get into that. Oh, you're in the honeymoon phase. I love it. That's great, man. Well, I'm glad you're trying it out and enjoying yourself. That's the big thing. Enjoy yourself, customize it. Just know that anything is possible. It's just a matter of doing it. I mean, it's very, very different when it comes to the two. Obviously, I like the productivity aspect of Linux. Some customizability obviously is huge, and I like how compartmentalized everything is on Linux. Windows, though, everything's meant with the Windows in mind. Every program that's made typically is made for Windows in mind. So it has all this inherent lock-in, vendor lock-in that's always makes Windows a necessity or a necessary evil for the most part. And it's just whether or not we can get enough market share to where that's not always the case. Yeah, he's going back. That's kind of funny. He started with it and then he that's awesome. Oh man. Yeah, well, he started with Awesome Window Manager and then he moved to GNOME because he's like, oh, it's so much easier to maintain and develop for. And then GNOME 42, I think, broke his stuff. Oh, that's just heartbreaking. It's not equivalent. So RPM Fusion is just a repo. So that's not the AUR. AUR builds packages for you, and RPM Fusion is a repository. So that's two different things. And RPM Fusion, actually, I think it added RPM Fusion by stock defaults when I went to install Steam. I think it just grabbed it. Whenever I do a DNF update on here, let's do that as super user. It doesn't even show my repos. What is this? DNF? And probably gonna be, where's DNF where'd they put those repos? They might have just tossed it, oops. In the comp file, maybe? No. Maybe modules? No, I bet they did this. Yeah, they tossed them all in Yum repos. That's what they did. So yeah, it actually added all these. So I haven't really messed with the repositories at all. And you can see at the bottom of my screen, there's all these repositories in here. Fedora is actually really good about finding stuff. I didn't go out of my way to find, let's do a long listing actually, so you can see it a little bit better. I didn't go out of my way to find any of these except for VS Codium, which I did on this one. RPM Fusion, it just grabbed it and tossed it on there. So when I did a sudo DNF install Steam, it went to RPM Fusion, grabbed the repository, installed the repository, and then updated the system. I never installed RPM Fusion, even though it's installed. So that's gotten so much better, so much cleaner, which is great. But someone in chat did mention COPR. Yeah, chat's there. I was like, yeah, they're still using Yum repos D, which is weird. Yum was so old, and I think DNF stands for like denitrified Yum or something. I don't even, I'm saying butchering that first part, but whatever it is. But all right, guys. Well, cool. Well, I kind of wanted to just bop around a little bit, install some stuff, kind of show you the new layout with Fedora. It's been a long time since I've used Fedora. Coming back to it, it just seems so darn easy. I remember when I started it back, I think it was Fedora 28 or 29 in 2018. It was just a whole different realm of things when I got in here and I didn't understand a lot of things on how Linux desktop worked. And now coming back to Fedora, I was like, wow, this is so much easier than it was. But also, I think, obviously, I've expanded my Linux desktop knowledge to where I understand a lot more now. And I can change pretty much anything I don't like, which just reinforces the fact that I don't really care what distro I'm on. You know, Debian, Fedora, which is a completely different package manager, and some other strange things like Wayland's on my default. And it's lovely. And honestly, when it comes to DNF, I like its package manager better than apt, and I like it better than Pacman. It's steadily every single day I use DNF. Like, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, package managers on Linux. So yeah, hats off to you, Red Hat, for making a great desktop environment, or desktop one, until you go screw it up or something, which eventually will probably happen. Yeah, I might do Twitch a little bit after this. I still have a ton of stuff, Michael. I've been working on my audio a bunch. You notice there's no background music on this stream because I wanted to switch everything to optical going into my computers and my stream PC, and I'm missing an optical input coming from my Soundcraft, which I'm about to get rid of. I was looking at the UFX like you recommended, and I love the UFX, and I was like, ooh, I could do that, but then I was like, I'm gonna try a couple other little things and try all the different sound cards. Is I would love to get optical inputs for every device directly in, but they all have their own separate input on my computer, so then I can isolate every device directly from my OBS, which would be huge for live streaming, recording, and I think it also would give a good quality uptick. Where if I was going to use the UFX, I would just put everything in the UFX, and the UFX also has 2 optical ends, where I think I want 5, and right now I've gotten 2 optical ends on my computer using an old sound card, which is this guy, which, look at that, bam, yeah, this guy right here. I tried this one. This one sucks. It's horrible. Don't ever buy this. Sound Blaster, you're garbage. But this one was actually not bad. I did switch out the op amps with some stuff I got from China. It took about a month to get here, and I ordered 50 of these guys. This is so ridiculous. 50 of these batch things to try out switching out on the sound card to make it have less static in the line when using analog. Yeah, I don't know if it was worth it. We'll make a good YouTube video, I guess. And but the opticals, kind of the big thing. I want to try and nail that down. So I'm still tinkering around with it. Inevitably, I'll probably end up going with some high-end producer level stuff like the UFX with that, but I'm going to see if I can't bring all these optical inputs in without using the analog that introduces the static. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the UFX will bring it in through that, but you got to remember, I'm trying to push my audio out from the, like, obviously microphone and that type of thing. Doing UFX will do that conversion amazingly, but what I want is like PlayStation, Studio PC, all those. I want optical out into an optical in on either the stream box or the mixer or preamp, whatever it might be, and then convert that to the digital, or keep it at the digital signal is the big thing, and not doing that back and forth. And it also took me a little bit to figure out, because I'm not an audio guy at all, but when you do the analog to digital conversion, you got to watch the conversion rate and how many I want to say megahertz, but that's probably not right, but going like 48K or 44.1 or 44.2, a lot of audio equipment likes to run at 48, and OBS and also Windows likes to default to 44, which is strange. I don't know why that's the case. So I have to switch all those to 48 and make everything standardized with the optical. But the idea is to get all digital, keep it digital, and not do this conversion back and forth like I'm doing right now, which I feel like sacrifices audio quality. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'll probably end up breaking down and just doing the UFX. But at the same time, I kind of wanted to make a video about it. Well, yeah, the optical is going to be there regardless, though, Michael, because you have to get the audio from the computer, and bringing that in, you're going to want to do optical out from your devices. You never want to touch analog when dealing with whether it's the PlayStation, whether it's Studio PC. You always want to stay digital. There's no reason to do a conversion to analog and then back to digital, and you can't bring those in unless you use like SPDIF or optical, like that type of thing. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now, is figuring out how to handle that. Obviously, when you have traditional audio stuff, it UFX will just handle it end to end. Can an unmanaged switch handle the bandwidth between 2 ports if a gateway is also connected, or if the gateway... Yeah. So unmanaged switch typically implies like it's a layer 2 switch, And I was bouncing around with this the other day because I was thinking about switching out my switches, and layer 3 just can do a little bit better when it comes to VLAN tagging. And when you do the VLAN tagging, you can, it's not to say unmanaged switches can't do VLAN tagging. You can actually do it through port-based VLAN tagging, but you can't do it like IP-based VLAN tagging would require a layer 3, which is definitely a managed switch. So if you're talking like just basic level 2 layer, I said level 2, layer 2 switches, yeah, its bandwidth can be even higher on a layer 2 compared to a managed like layer 3 switch or whatnot, just because it's not really processing, it's not really doing anything, it's just passing traffic, which makes it very, very easy. So don't worry too much about the bandwidth concerns unless it's like a 5-port POS one, but you're probably not going to get anywhere close to the bandwidth. Your choke points will probably be going in and out of that switch to your gateway. Most gateways, like if you have like a gateway from an ISP, it's going to be extremely low bandwidth, because that router or the gateway itself won't be able to handle a lot of what you're pushing through it, or it won't do that too. So yeah, it's kind of what it is. I can't. Speaking of switches, I can't replace my flipping Cisco switch because of the F and. Yeah, Vano, if you're trying to do a different Cisco and you understand you got like a CCNA or whatnot, man, you can check out. I've used them. I actually like them better than Cisco, if you don't use GUIs or anything. The name's escaping me right now, but they got sued by Cisco and they lost like millions of dollars, but they still offer the switches. Oh, what was it? Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. I gotta find it. Professional network switches. What is it? Not Juniper, Cisco. No. Damn it. Junk. This is not, I put the word professional in Google. Are you drunk? This is not at all. This is like all hobbyist crap. One Cisco, but man, what was it? No, Aruba, Linksys, that's all residential garbage. I remember if you're looking for high bandwidth, like in the terabytes, don't get on any YouTube baloney. It's just going to be just some guy recommending some junk. All right, maybe let's not do that. Let's go Cisco alternative switches. All right, well, let's get out of here. Let's go back to here. No. There it is, Arista. Yeah, man. Check out Arista switches. They are, if you can get one used in the aftermarket, it will spank the dog crap out of any numbers you'll see anywhere else. The Arista switches, I was way impressed with the throughput, where you'll really do well. So check out Aruba switches. They aren't cheap, but you might be able to check the used market for them, as they're equivalent, if not better, than a lot of Cisco switches. But again, it's all CLI based. There's no GUI or any of that business to them. Oh, okay, yeah. That's good, Jeff. Yeah, that's one of those things is when it comes to switches and networking, there's like 2 levels. And honestly, I'm pretty much on the hobbyist level. I know what I don't know though. So I'm not very good with networking. I'm passable, but I understand like the hierarchy and those types of things. But when it comes to actually designing networks and things, I know what hardware I want for the infrastructure. But a lot of times I get with like a network engineer and then say, hey, this is what I want. These are the numbers and throughput I'm trying to get to. And then usually they'll be like, okay, this is kind of what you want. And then they'll recommend that. And any of the good ones out there, they'll usually be Cisco, Arista. There's a couple other ones that, I think Juniper popped up. I never used them. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see that. But if you're worried about bandwidth and throughput and that type of thing, that is where it's at. Don't be running a switch with a GUI. That is first and foremost, for sure. Licensing fees. I think Arista has some licensing, but it's not terrible, I don't think, when I dealt with it. And honestly, you don't necessarily need up-to-date licensing. You could just program it up and set it and forget it kind of thing. Oh, Mikrotik. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I mean, in a pinch, if you're like extremely budget conscious, you could probably do their switches. Just make sure you switch it to the switch OS from their router OS, because their router OS is just like hot garbage. And if all you got's like $100 or something, it's not the worst. I mean, it's not like a TP-Link or some crap. Oh, you need Visual Studio, not Studio Code. I'll have to look into that, K-Lock. I'm pretty sure I know some guys that use Visual Studio, and I'm trying to think if any of them were using Linux. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. Yeah. So I actually recently went back to Unify just because I was like super lazy and I had a USG laying around, and I think my pfSense was causing me issues, and I was like, screw it. And I just tossed it in, tossed up the controller, and then updated. I was like, it's just so stinking easy, and everything's just visually there for you to where, I mean, Unify, they do a good job in the SMB, and if you're small potatoes and you just want something that works, they do such a good job. And I love their access points. Even though I've had their access points, they don't last very long. I keep having their access points go out every 3 to 5 years, which maybe that's just the lifespan of them. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to shut it down for the day. Thanks for coming by, chatting. It's always fun kind of doing these. I know I didn't really show too much of the desktop, but I was just kind of getting used to it. I like it. I like the desktop. We'll see how long I last on it. I do like how simplistic it is, but it doesn't sound like long term this is not going to probably work, because Material Shell, I think, is probably going to have to move away from GNOME, because GNOME is effectively killing it by limiting a lot of the customization options you can do with GNOME. So we'll see. I'll keep following Papa Gringo, the developer of this Material Shell, and go into it. But thanks for all stopping by. Hope you all have a lovely night, a lovely day, lovely weekend, and I'll see y'all in the next one.